Welcome back to a very special Christmas episode of the Stick 'em Up podcast. If we sound a little bit different today, that's because we're recording this one together. Brundy and I are in person today on this Christmas season. Brundy, how's Christmas been for you so far?
Hey, we've been doing good. We've been lots of games have been played, lots of beers have been flowing, and just ready for the Christmas dinners now to take place, as that's always one of my favorite times of the holidays. But we're here to talk a little bit of hockey, just kind of a nice little fun Christmas filler episode for all of you. So let's just dive right in. Where do we want to start here?
Oh, we had a whole bunch of stuff happen on, I want to say it was the 23rd, and then of course everything stopped because there were no games after that.
Yeah.
But I guess the biggest one that we definitely have to start with is Buffalo is on a one-game win streak.
Buffalo, they won a game, and boy did they ever win a game. 7-1.
Fuck, man, that's brutal.
Over the New York Islanders, we did talk about it and how this feels like a game that Buffalo is destined to win, and 7-1. That, you know what, if you're going to end a long losing streak, that's the way to do it.
Oh, Islanders. Oh, that's brutal. Did you watch the game? I was busy watching the Lightning Florida game.
Yeah, I caught most of the game. Really kind of didn't. Yeah, Buffalo looked like a good team for once. Obviously, still lots of holes to be filled on that team. Still a lot of mistakes. But you know what? If you're winning a game 7-1, I don't think you can complain about much of your play out there. So,
no, I'm thinking more for the Islanders. You just got beat 7-1 by the team that everyone has been dominating. Like a lot of the games, they've been getting
shelled.
Yeah, absolutely shelled. And there were 3, 4, 5 games in this 13-game losing streak where Buffalo made it a close game, a 1 or 2 goal game with an empty netter against some teams, but. Oh, that's... Everyone else is beating up on them. To get beat up by them is pretty rough for the Islanders, but
yeah,
it had to happen at some point.
It had to. Did you see? It was like maybe not even a week ago. Did you see the video of Lou?
Of Lou Lamoriello?
Yeah.
I don't believe so.
There's a video, and it was I don't even know where they were playing. I don't know what game it was. One of the Islanders players, I believe it was Romanov, he was on the bench, like, before the game, like, even before warm-ups, kind of just walking back and forth across the bench, doing some stretches, and then the camera pans over to Lou down in the corner standing there, just, like, staring over at him with just, like, the most disgusted look on his face. It almost felt like, if you watch WWE, if you watch wrestling, it was kind of like when you see, like, a backstage, like, kind of segment going on, whatever happens, and then the camera kind of pans over to someone else that's like nearby kind of listening to what they were saying, and they're just like so like rattled and shook. It was,
I'll have to find truth, and they're like, what the hell was that?
It's exactly what it was like. It was a fantastic video to watch back, and it was even better to see that video replayed over and over after the Islanders lost to Buffalo.
Yeah, a very, very Lou Lamoriello move to just stand there watching one of his players and not be happy about it.
Yeah.
Especially since they traded for Romanov. Was it last offseason? Was it that
recent? No. It was like, I think it was like 2022.
Oh, okay.
2022.
It was 2 seasons ago. A little bit ago, but yeah, that's brutal for the Islanders. The Sabres, all you have to do is win some games. Like, that one win... Bam. They're 2 points behind Detroit. Like they're...
Okay, but let's not act like Detroit's good. Like
no.
Detroit probably won 2 games in the span of Buffalo's losing streak.
No, yeah. We're talking about teams 15 and 16 in the East. They're at the bottom of the East. 2 teams that wanted to be going for those wild card spots that...
And should have been going for those wild card spots.
And they are nowhere near it right now.
Both those teams are really underperforming, and it's not good. It's not good. You make all these moves and you try and be like, all right, we're trying to win now. We're not sitting here in rebuild phase anymore, and you still suck. I don't know. I heard I don't know if this is true, but I was reading last night that Detroit is going through the process of potentially firing their coach.
They're thinking about moving on from Derek Lalonde.
Yeah, and it sounded like they were planning around New Year's, but it sounds like the owner doesn't want to for some reason. I don't really know. There just wasn't a full story about it. It just sounds like it's kind of rumors swirling around that the team is toying with the idea of moving on from Lalonde, which I think they probably should at this point. But it sounds like
been long enough.
The owner's kind of dipping his fingers in the honey there.
I wouldn't mind.
No.
I wouldn't mind them picking up Drew Bannister. I think he might be able to help turn them around a bit, but who knows? It's impossible to tell with some of these teams underperforming so much. If it's just bad luck in the matchups, they caught the other team on a good night. If it's a system issue, the players
It's something if you're, at this point now you're, a few points out of a playoff spot when you probably should be, like maybe the Rangers. I could get maybe on the argument of that. But if you're a Buffalo or Detroit and you're that far down, like you're the bottom two teams in the East,
yeah,
I think you're just having an awful year. I think it's just a combination of everything. Bad matchups, your team's not performing. You're straight up, your team kind of sucks more nights than not.
You're not entirely wrong, but at the same time, looking at some of the stuff so the Sabres are 16th in the East. That is dead last in the East. They are a minus 16 on the season in goal differential. The Boston Bruins are minus 14 goal differential.
but let's,
and they're in sixth.
Yeah, but let's remember how bad Boston's was all the way up to almost mid-November. Right? Like they had games where they were just losing 7-4, 8-4. Like they were just getting pounded game after game after game. To the point where actually, what was it, minus 14?
It's currently minus 14.
That's an improvement. It was bad at one point.
Yeah.
So I get it, but
they still won games. They were at minus 30 or minus 20 something at a point, and they were still at their worst, a little out of the playoffs. They were.
But that's because that team's they can score a lot. They maybe don't have I don't think Boston actually has the talent up front aside from obviously they have the best player out of them, Detroit and
the Sabres
and Buffalo with Pasternak, but I mean. Detroit's probably got a deeper team up front on the offense. Buffalo does.
Yeah.
But Boston's finding ways to score.
Unless the fourth line is going at a point per game, they really don't have a lot of depth. But
yeah.
I mean, they're in sixth in the entire conference, and the other two are at dead last and second last. So
yeah,
that's brutal for them. But
and we know Detroit, it's not the goaltending.
No,
and that's one thing I thought
they should be below Buffalo without their goaltending, honestly, which has not been the case. Their goaltending's let them down in the past few years, and now it's the complete opposite. They're getting goaltending, and they are not able to keep up. And they have some of their top guys are doing relatively well. I know Lucas Raymond's having a pretty good year. Sider's been good.
He's kind of doing exactly what we expected, but at the same time, you want him to maybe take that next step, right? Just because he's doing what we expected isn't necessarily a good thing, especially, with a young player like Sider coming off a Calder, back-to-back seasons where he kind of hasn't taken that next step. You're really kind of hoping he would this year. Definitely still could happen. We're technically not even halfway through the season, so... lots of time for things to turn around for Detroit or Buffalo, as I think they're still good teams on paper, just putting up horrible results right now team-wise.
Yeah, just every time I look at the scores, they're losing. Oh, man, I get it. Buffalo's cursed. I can't even put my finger on it, but the Red Wings, I'm surprised they're so close in the standings to Buffalo, so that's kind of wild. But
I'm really not though, because is Detroit improving each offseason?
I mean, kind of, not really.
I mean, I look at Detroit; they're struggling to put up points. You let Shane Goss to spare walk. He's putting up absurdly good offensive numbers. Maybe not great defensive numbers, but in terms of offensive numbers with Carolina, great.
And you're not picking him up for his defensive prowess. You pick him up because you know you got a great defensive defenseman that'll go well with him.
Yeah.
Like
And Jake Wollman, who is already,
setting
setting new records in terms of his own personal accolades for points and whatnot already in the season. I just look at Detroit and like they should be, we keep saying they should be a good team, but then I'm also looking at their off seasons. I'm like, are they really doing anything to improve their team for right now?
They should be better
Not
than where
really.
they are. I don't know. I don't look at their team and think they're really better than the Senators.
I like Otto's team more.
Yeah.
I like the Sens.
But
Sens playoff bound maybe this year. I'd love that.
They're a better team than second last in the conference. In the conference.
Yeah, they should be above a Columbus. They should be above a Montreal. They should, arguably with how bad the Rangers are, probably be above the Rangers. I think that's a little fair assessment there as well.
Yeah. One team that's moved up a little bit, not a lot, but their rank in the overall league doesn't start with a 3 anymore. They're in 29th. They're moving up. The Nashville Predators.
Preds are, I don't want to say heating up. They're
4-5
simmering
in their last 10.
They're simmering 4-5-1. All right, well,
On a 2-game win streak. I mean, it's probably like their first or second one of those of the year.
yeah, it honestly probably is.
They beat the Hurricanes and the Kings, by the way, for those 2 games. So that's
Two good teams.
That's pretty solid for them.
Two good teams. Like the Kings are the Kings maybe the biggest underdog in the league right now. Maybe not underdogs, but I guess like underappreciated.
I want to say yes, but like it feels like they also have been for a bit.
Yeah,
last 2 or
but
3 years.
It's the fact they're doing it without Drew Doughty, and they're basically kind of right where we were even expecting them to be. So I gotta imagine, like with Drew Doughty, maybe how much higher up this team could be. They're a fun team.
Yeah.
They're a fun team. They definitely got some holes they need to fix, but the Kings have been a very fun and surprising team so far this year.
Yeah, especially losing Doughty. You are right. Like they're 10th in the league overall right now, plus 16 goal differential. They've got 43 points already. Like. Yeah, I mean that's 1 point behind the Leafs. Like they're right up there, so they've been very good. It kind of depends, I guess, on like, do you mean like under talked about or like we didn't expect them to be?
Maybe under talked about was the word I was looking for there.
Because obviously the Capitals are in 4th in the league. We both had them abysmal in the rankings in our preseason,
and they haven't
rankings.
fallen off since losing Ovi as well.
Not at all, really.
They've stayed right on track.
And 46 points, 5th in the league for the Minnesota Wild, which I think some people had the playoffs, some people had out. But
I think I had them just missing. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I had them. I think in my official predictions I had them missing, but in my bold predictions I said bold prediction was that they would make the playoffs.
They would make it. Yeah.
Didn't think they'd be 21-10-4 at this point. So good for them as well. Kaprizov is crushing it.
Yeah, he's been looking. I mean, a lot of guys on that team are looking really good. Like the team, top to bottom, is really producing. Just they're getting it from everyone, and you know what? Sometimes that's exactly what you need. That's a big part of obviously Ovi went on a tear when they won the cup, but a big reason the Capitals got their first Stanley Cup was having a deep team. And when you have guys on the 3rd and 4th line like Lars Eller and Smith Pelly ripping goals nonstop in the playoffs, like that's huge. And I really do like a lot of the depth that they have throughout their lineup. So
yeah, it's a lot of guys that up until this year I was like, they've got some promise, but I don't know if they're really going to do anything. And now it's kind of like they're all kind of coming together at the same time. It kind of looks wild. Like this. Yeah, this might be a lot shorter rebuild than everyone thought.
Yeah. Now that they've already got quite a few pieces for the future already, you might only have to kind of maybe try and do a little retool for a year or two.
Yeah.
And this is obviously once Ovi's done. They're not going to do any of this until after Ovi's broken Gretzky's record, and I don't know what he does when he retires, honestly. But
I believe he said that he wants to play. I don't know if it's a year. I don't know if it's a game. He wants to finish his career in the KHL.
Oh.
In some way. I don't
I've
know
not
if
heard that.
I don't know if that means he signs a 1-day contract with the whatever team he played for the KHL before and plays like one game, or if he's going to play a season. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, hell, he'll probably go over there and become the president of the organization. So,
Wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
but we got a couple other things we can talk about here that kind of got a little more interesting. We talked a lot last episode about the Patrick Laine comments he made about the Blue Jackets. A game that was really interesting. I believe Columbus won 5-4. They got a goal with like a minute left to win it. That Columbus building was rocking at that point.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Laine went down with an injury during the game, which sucks. But Zach Werenski had some choice words for him after the game, saying that he thought what was the quote? I think he said like unprofessional bullshit or something like that.
Yeah, he just said it was basically bullshit. He said like, yeah, just kind of like, yeah, I don't have the exact quotes. Like, I don't want to try and be like, oh, this is what he said, but it was along the lines of basically like what he's saying is bullshit. Like, he didn't need to say that. Basically, was kind of the gist of it. Like, and more than anything, the guys on the team didn't appreciate it at all. They really kind of took it to heart, and
he said it fueled
thought it was unnecessary.
Yeah, he said it fueled them a lot for that game, which, I mean, especially a team like Columbus or Montreal for that matter, anything you got to get fired up over because, I imagine, looking at you, Sabres, like, it's probably hard to get the motivation sometimes to go out there and play your best hockey.
Yeah.
But,
Laine, first time he touched the puck, got a massive, a lot of booze rained down from the crowd, which is kind of sick. Good on Columbus fans. Good on the team and the city for kind of all rallying together. And that is, again, just a really tough year for that organization. And, like I said, I was on the side of, Laine's comments were unnecessary, yada, yada, yada. Regardless of that, now it's said and done. I think that's kind of created a little bit of a rivalry between these two teams now.
For sure. Jordan Harris getting his first
hey,
career
he
goal.
tucked one. Yeah, I was shitting on him a little bit, and he proved me wrong, which I appreciate it because that was cool to see him tuck one. But seeing the fans, seeing the players all kind of come together in a moment, and it's just good. Columbus deserves it.
It's good for the fan base, and it's too bad because I really took it as Laine was saying it about the org or like the GM making moves more than the team. But you look at Laine's quotes and he 100%, I don't know if he thought it was partially about the GM and stuff, but he definitely, and obviously the rest of the Columbus locker room took it as he was saying about the players as well.
Yeah, which is the way that I took it.
Yeah,
when reading it at first glance, yeah.
Werenski was saying he was a good guy while we were here. We were nothing but good teammates to him, nothing but good friends. For him to bash us like that, I think it's just unacceptable. For him to come in here and say all that, that's bullshit. Definitely not happy about it. None of us in the room are happy about it, and that speaks more about him than it does about us. So
when does Werenski get the C? Man, like when are they shipping out Boone Jenner to give Werenski the C?
I've heard nothing about them shipping out Boone Jenner.
No, neither have I. But
I've heard a lot of different GMs are looking for a guy very much fitting the description of a Boone Jenner. So,
and like if you're Columbus, again, like if you're trying to come out of this rebuild and you got all these young pieces, like Werenski's obviously going to be the guy leading you in the future. Loves being there, loves everything. I think is Werenski an Ohio guy or is he Michigan?
I'm not sure, but one thing that surprised me, because I was not that surprised that Werenski took it that way and the locker room took it that way and it fueled them, and I'm not surprised that the fan base was booing once he touched the puck, but this is something I did not expect. The Blue Jackets had a welcome back video package ready to play for Patrick Laine during the first TV timeout in the first period. And by the afternoon, with everything going on with his comments, they decided against showing it. They didn't show it to anybody. Yeah. And that surprised me. Even when guys have a bit of a messy leave, they pretty much always still seem to get, like league-wide, seem to get, still, they get the video tribute package, and whether the fan base is booing, cheering, or split, usually they still do that, and all the players stick tap, and it's kind of a thing. So I am a little surprised that they didn't still run that, even if he got booed like crazy.
Yeah, and I don't think it's because they did it to be like, oh, we don't want to, like, they don't care if he got booed. Like, they don't give a shit. That's not the reason why they didn't show it. I think they decided not to just show it because, they thought what he did was disrespectful. Like, we're not going to give him this big welcome back, open arms type of thing when he kind of shit on the franchise and basically said we're losers. So
yeah.
I get it. It is kind of shitty, but again, respect to Columbus. I mean, they've kind of been the I don't know. I can't even think of the right word.
Punching bag.
The punching bag. Yes, the punch. I was thinking of kicking. Punching. They've basically been the punching bag of the league for how many years now? Especially now that Florida's won a cup and they're good. There's no Arizona Coyotes. Like, it's really just kind of Columbus. So you know what? Good on them for being like, you know what? We're gonna stand up for ourselves, and it's a little bit weird. Like, just don't even say you had it. Just if you didn't do it, you didn't do it. I don't know why I have to say we had it and decide not to show it. That's just trying to maybe stir the fire a bit for Columbus, I think.
I wonder, say they did a little bit better this year. Say they're in a wild card spot right now, Columbus.
Yeah.
Do you think they play the video with his words? Like, even like he says it. Do you think they still play the welcome back video after he says the comments of they have a bit of a losing culture usually by this point, but they're in a playoff spot? Do you think they go, you know what?
Maybe.
We don't care. We're going to play it. We're going to be chill because we're not losers.
Yeah.
Because we're in a playoff spot and we're winners.
Yeah.
I genuinely wonder. I don't know if that says much about the org or anything, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just thought it...
Interesting thought.
The fact they decided not to show up, fair. I'm not going to argue. Like, that's fair.
I'm just surprised.
It's just weird to be like, well, we had it, but we're not going to show it. It's like, shut up. Why even say that shit? Like, you played Montreal. Laine got injured. Unfortunately, like, not being like, oh, yeah, you injured Laine. Again, I don't think Columbus players were targeting him. I think just freak accident. Laine doesn't have the best history of staying healthy. And you won the game. So fucking move on now. If you got a little rivalry brewing up, okay. Rivalry is always fun, but...
Two rebuilding teams in a rivalry is always fun, because, for years everyone's like, oh, it's the Battle of Florida tonight, and we're kind of sitting here like, okay, time for Stamkos and Hedman to take all these rebuilding guys' lunch money.
Yeah, exactly.
And now for the past 5 years, it's actually been a rivalry. But before, it was hardly one because it's one guy stomping the other,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Flames fans are kind of going through that right now with Edmonton. Yeah. But if whether you're both good or both bad, if you're matching, you can be in a rivalry pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Line has created a little bit of rivalry, and I think it's going to make some entertaining games down the line between those two teams.
It's going to make tickets a little more expensive when the Canadians come to Ohio.
Yeah. Well, I think just naturally that with Montreal coming, though, always be juiced a little bit, but...
Yeah.
Did you see... So we've got the World Juniors coming up.
Oh, boy.
Team Switzerland, for the first time... Not just Switzerland, but this happening for the first time in the World Juniors tournament since 2001. A 15-year-old will be playing in the tournament. Jonah, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the last name. He is number 3 on the team. I will show you here if you want to try and pronounce Jonah's last name there. I'm not even going to take a stab at it. I'm not even trying, dude. If you want to.
Oh, no, I got this. Jonah Neuenschwander? Neuenschwander? I think that's pretty close.
You know what? That's actually pretty good.
You might have to say it with an accent a bit, but I think it's something like
There's
that.
an Elijah Neuenschwander in goal.
They're boys.
Could be brothers. We tend to see that happen actually a lot between, a lot of these teams over across the seas. If you're looking at Sweden, Finland, Czechia, Slovakia, Switzerland, they tend to have like a lot of like similar, they're like same last names. It's like cousins, brothers, whatnot. So we're kind of cool with it. A 15-year-old is is in the tournament. He's projected to actually be in the lineup and playing. And then it's kind of weird because in Canada, you've got a 16-year-old who's going to be a first overall pick in a couple of years, and you don't want to play him.
Yeah, I mean...
Come on, Dave Cameron, get your shit together. You've got a guy, Gavin McKenna, who's...
How they run it.
Yeah. It's going to be... World Juniors are going to be fun, though. I think
fun.
There's a lot of good teams. I think there's a lot of parity. The World Juniors are just so much more exciting now that, like, you know, Germany's just taken massive strides over recent years. Czechia, Slovakia, like, you know, it'd be kind of nice to have Russia back in, I'm not going to lie. Like, I get why they're not.
Oh, absolutely.
I totally get why they're not. But the tournament was always more exciting with Russia in it. Like, and you can't say, oh, no, it's better without them. No.
I don't think anybody would argue it's better without having Russia or Russian players in, you know, in the World Cup, in any of those things. It's just an unfortunate reality of their government being shitters. So,
but like,
unfortunately, that screws it over for these young hockey players. Hell, older guys, like Russia easily could have had a Four Nations team. Like, something like that is... It's unfortunate.
It is very unfortunate, but like you still got like Canada, you got US, you got Sweden, you got Finland, kind of the big four, but you've got all these other ones all over the place that they can pull off an upset on any given day.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see a lot more of those countries, you know, not every year, but starting to, you know, more years than not now. One of them is at least getting a medal. Like, it's not just, you know, Canada or US, Sweden, Finland, gold, bronze, silver, or whatever.
No, Canada got beaten the first round. Was it last year or the year before?
Yep, got up for... What was that game? I think it was a 4 a.m. game. And they lost, and I was like, wow. This sucks.
Yeah.
6 a.m., I'm fucking wired. I'm like, damn, Canada just got shit on. I can't fucking go back to bed now. Which sucked, but... World Junior is always a fun time. Looking forward to it. Kicks off tomorrow. So, looking forward to that.
Yeah. All right. I got a couple other things.
Shower thoughts.
I was going to say...
Shower thoughts.
This one, I don't know if we want to talk about it or just let it marinate. But...
just let it marinate.
Marchand was asked, how do you think Pasta looked tonight? That is exactly what the reporter said. How did Pasta look tonight? Marchand said he looked phenomenal in the shower. Great naked body. So anyway...
Dude, that's such a Joe Thornton quote.
Dude, honestly, like, obviously I don't like him on the ice, but, dude, Marchand's been on a fucking heater this year in interviews.
Yeah.
He's had so many good interactions with reporters, with Biz Nasty, like, holy...
You know, because what is that, Biz on, is that the TNT?
Yeah.
They love doing Boston games because they love getting Marchand on there to just give Biz the works over and over.
It's so funny.
It's so good. You can you know, whatever you want to say about Marchand on the ice... Fair, I love him, but if people don't, like, I'm not gonna argue. Like, you know, if especially, you know, like, I understand it's fair, but he seems like just such a beauty. He seems like just a funny guy, just a chill dude that
there's so many guys.
He loves to laugh and have fun.
There's so many guys like that around the league. Like, I don't think the Kachucks are bad guys off the ice either. Like, they're absolute dickheads on the ice, but like that's their brand of hockey, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree there. We can move on from that one.
Yeah. Pasta looks phenomenal in the shower. Put it on a t-shirt. Sidney Crosby tied Mario Lemieux for the most assists by a Pittsburgh Penguin player in franchise history.
It's impressive. Oh. It's impressive stuff. You know, Lemieux's one of the all-time greats. He's probably should be in at least everyone's top 4. I think it's pretty hard to say Lemieux's not in my top 4 for someone, but again, just one of the greatest players. And you know, obviously Crosby's no slouch himself. He's going to go down as one of the all-time greats. He's going to go down in the top 10 of all time when his career's done.
He's already
wherever you put him. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, wherever you put him in the top 10, like, you know, for some people he might use it in the top 5. But I just say top 10 because there's probably more people that just have him in the top 10 and in the top 5. I think he's in my top 5.
I think he's in my top 5.
When he retires, I think he's in my top 5. He's done it all at every level. He's an absolute machine, and I really, really hope we get Crosby one more time in the Olympics.
Yeah.
That's my one wish.
I mean, when would the next Olympics be?
2026.
2026. So
basically, Crosby just can't retire after this season.
Yeah. So basically,
and we'll get
when would that be? About 15-ish months.
Yeah,
or not even like
14.
13.
Yeah, 13 almost. Yeah, February of 2026. So yeah, so about 13 months. Yes, Crosby will still be around. Okay. I'm just hoping that healthy enough.
Yeah.
That nothing goes wrong and that we get a fully healthy Sid going into the Olympics and
because he
wearing the C, wearing the C one more time.
Oh, of course, yeah. Like if it looks like it's one of Crosby's last years, they're not giving him the C. Unfortunately, McDavid's just gonna have to have it later.
I don't think any of them give a shit to wear the C.
McDavid,
but McDavid's sitting there and he sees Crosby. He's like, "Fuck, dude, you're wearing it. If you're on the team, you're taking it."
Yeah, and he literally said that in I think once the Four Nations roster was announced. Before they asked who do you think should be captain, and he was like, Crosby. Sid, why are you even asking me that? Yeah. He looked at the reporter like, what a stupid fucking question.
You know what?
You idiot.
Kind of was a stupid question.
He's like, yeah, I'm good, but I can have it later. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. If you've got Sid there, man, it's his ship.
Yep. I got a few other things we can talk about. One that I don't know if you're gonna like what I have to say on it.
Oh boy!
But you know what?
Christmas Fight Club.
We got to talk about it. The Calder race. It looks like it's down to 3 guys, and unfortunately, Dustin Wolf does not appear to be one of them.
We can't say that yet, though. There's so much time for Wolf.
There's
but
time.
The Flames are gonna fall off, so yeah, Wolf's numbers are gonna decline. So I want it to be Wolf. Actually, I want to see a goalie actually get the Calder. But I don't see it happening.
Yeah, and unfortunately, at this point, I don't know if it's going to be a forward.
I don't know. I think it is kind of down to 3.
I think a lot of smoke is around Lane Hudson right now.
The thing is, though, right, is I don't think he wins.
Why not?
Because I think there's so much bias around it wanting to go towards a franchise player, a star player. Like, Bedard had a great year last year. In my opinion, Brock Faber should have won the Calder. He didn't. Because it's easier to just go with the Bedard route, which is kind of why I think, unless Lane Hudson hits... Because what did Brock Faber have last year? 50...
Maybe 50-some points? I can check that
out. I think for Lane Hudson to genuinely have a shot, not even to win, but have a shot, it's probably got to be 65 points. Because to win it over... I think Michkov is still the favorite. I think Celebrini's right behind him, and I think Lane Hudson's right in there. I think Lane Hudson probably does have to put up 65 points at least.
Oh, I don't think so.
I mean, his defensive numbers aren't great.
No, but who's
Faber?
Who's looking at defensive numbers?
Everybody. That's the biggest talking point around Celebrini is, they obviously dabble into how good his offensive game is, but it's his 200-foot game that gets everybody riled up. Brock Faber last year was putting up insane offensive numbers and good defensive numbers. And he came in second, and it was... I don't think it was very close.
Insane offensive numbers is a bit much. He had 8 goals for 47 points. Don't get me wrong. Insane
as a rookie defenseman on the Minnesota Wild. The Wild weren't good last year.
But...
the Wild weren't good last year.
No. But I think if Lane Hudson even has 55 points, if the other guys are around 70, I think he's got a real good chance. I think
he'll be a finalist, I think.
Because Brock Faber plays for the Minnesota Wild. I'm sorry, but the way the league looks at it, that's not fun. That's not sexy. Mm-hmm. You know it is. Giving a big shiny Calder trophy to the Montreal Canadiens. Hey, guess what, guys? We totally believe this guy's the next Erik Karlsson. We think this guy's going to be bomb for you. I feel like if a big guy comes in and makes waves as a Canadian, I think they're gonna be excited to give it to him. I don't
think they do it based on the team. I really don't. Because you can make. I mean, not talking about because obviously San Jose is nowhere near as big of a market, but Celebrini is looking like the next coming of a Sidney Crosby type player.
Yeah.
So you could use that exact same argument. Do they do it based on the team? I really don't know. Like, I can't say whether they do or don't.
I don't think so. I think it's more of a tiebreaker thing, though. Like, if they're very close and it could go either way, and one guy plays in New York and one plays in Calgary, I feel like it's a little easier for me to make that.
I think the tiebreaker would be, because how old is Lane Hudson is 20. He's going to be 21 at the end of the season.
Age shouldn't factor in at all.
But it kind of, and then Michkov, okay, he'll be 20. But if you're looking at it at the end of the year and you're like, all right, you've got guys all relatively around the same, but it's like, okay, a guy's 21, a guy's 20, and a guy's 18. I think there is more bias to kind of lean towards the guy that's the youngest. It's a kid, basically 18 years old.
Maybe. It's really weird because it's so hard to tell how the voters are going to put it. Like, obviously, what team they play on, like, you know... I'm not going to say it doesn't matter. It very well could have. Maybe their strength of teammates should matter, perhaps, but definitely not. You know, what city they're playing for, how much prestige of the franchise. That obviously should not matter. Maybe it does.
Maybe it does, but it should. I agree.
Their age shouldn't matter. It's about the best rookie year. If you're in your rookie year and you're eligible, that shouldn't matter. Does it make one more impressive? Absolutely. Did Panarin have a better rookie year than McDavid? Yeah.
But he was also like 6 years old.
Yeah, and so you know what? I'll definitely hear an argument for lower the maximum age for getting the Calder. I'll absolutely hear that. But we're judging on who had the best rookie year. If you're a rookie, you're all in the same.
But I'm saying if they're so close together, I'm more impressed with what an 18-year-old is doing as opposed to a 21-year-old.
It's more impressive. That doesn't make his season better.
No, I'm not saying it makes his season better. I'm saying if I have to come down and two guys are like dead even on basically every stat, I'm like, shit, I can't pick.
Yeah.
I'm more inclined to go with the younger guy because he's doing it at a much younger age, probably, you know, not as skilled at playing at the pro level. Like you look at Celebrini, he only played 1 year at Boston. He was Boston University. He was BU. He played 1 year at BU. Lane Hudson. Actually, you know what? I think Lane Hudson was BU as well. He played a few years there. Michkov's coming over from playing in the KHL. Yeah. Like, you know, again, like I still think Michkov is the favorite, but if it comes down to it and it's so close and I'm like, shit, these guys are all right in there. Me personally, again, I don't vote in this, so my vote, you know, for this doesn't matter. I'm just more inclined to go with the younger guy because I think it's more impressive for guys who are younger to come into this league and make a big impact. But I do agree with you. I think Dustin Wolf's kind of fallen out of the race.
Yeah,
as of
and
late, unfortunately.
Not on his own doing. Like, I think it's just a pretty strong year. I think it's been a while since we've had this far into the season 3 rookies be so good because, like Lane Hudson, he's not at a point per game, but like he's close.
He's close.
He's got 26 points in 34 games. Michkov has 27 points in 33 games.
27 and 33?
Yeah.
Oh shit! So he's on a bit of a cold streak.
Yeah.
Because he was he was 26 and 26 or something. He was a point per game at one point.
Yeah. And yeah, so Lane Hudson, yeah, he's right up there. And then Celebrini is at 25 and 25. So he is a point per game, but with about eight or 9 less games played than the other two.
Yeah.
Like it right now, especially since there's, you know, over half of the season left to be played. There's about 50 games left for most of the teams.
The door is still wide open.
It's completely wide open, but
Dustin Wolf could come back in the race. Logan Stankoven could find himself back, and I'm kind of surprised how far he's fallen out of the conversation. Cutter Gauthier was a guy we thought was going to be in there. He's not sniffing it. Will Smith was kind of thrown around as a dark horse. He's not sniffing it.
Yeah, especially with Celebrini on his team.
Yeah, I think it's really kind of come down to I think you can really go like it. There's 5 guys that could win.
Yeah,
I think it's Celebrini. I think it's Hudson. I think it's Michkov. I think Stankoven can still get right back in there, and then I think there's still a chance if Wolf goes on an incredible run, you move out Vladar.
Could happen.
It's possible. You give him a stretch down the line at the end of the season, and he racks up some good numbers.
Still having a very good year. I believe he's a 9-10 at Christmas as a rookie.
I just want to see a goalie get the Calder, man.
It would.
I hate that. Like it almost seems like you're not allowed to. I mean, actually, that's not fair. You're not allowed to go to goalie. There's just never really a rookie goalie that you can even make an argument for.
It's just so
to
hard.
really
You
win.
come in as a rookie goalie, and
You usually come in as a
you gotta-
backup
you
or
gotta-
something, or a tandem. Like, you're
Yeah.
not a starter.
and when you do get into those games, you're playing against NHL talent now, and even some of the weakest teams, they get a power play. You're against one of the worst teams in the league. You're still dealing with a Lucas Raymond, Patrick Kane on the power play, or you're dealing with a Rasmus Dahlin, Tage Thompson. Even the worst teams generally have some guys that can shoot the lights out. So
Yeah, you're going up against Chicago. You still got Bedard out there that's, well, maybe not going to light you up as much as he did last year. He seems to be more of a pass-first guy, but still, he's a guy that at any given moment can release one of the deadliest shots in the league. And
yeah,
it's tough for goalies, so I'm still holding out hope for Wolf, but I don't love his chances. But next year,
would you
I
rather
think,
Wolf win it than Celebrini?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Really?
Because Celebrini winning it obviously would be awesome. It would be electric. It'd be fun.
Yeah, no, it's a win-win.
But just for goalies, man, just to be
That's
like,
right.
hey, you know what? A goalie finally won the Calder again. I think next year, even though I think could be a good year for goalies for the Calder, I don't know if Devin Levi can actually qualify anymore. So I'm not going to say
I feel
Devin
like he's
Levi.
played enough games, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you look at some of the goalies with Detroit. You've got Jesper Wallstedt. Jesper Wallstedt has kind of declined in my goalie prospects a bit this year. He's had a bit of a rough year. I think Askarov probably will be. Again, I don't know what San Jose is going to do with him. Great game the other night against Edmonton, and further proof of why he should stay in the AHL. Because he stands on his head all game and then gets hung out to dry at the end by the Sharks, and they lose. Which is why I think just stay in the AHL, continue to win, get your confidence up, and be a stud next year. There was another goalie. Blanking on him.
Yeah.
They might not even be real. They might be fake.
Oh, honestly.
But I think there's a couple. I think next year it could be fun. That I think you're looking at this time next year. Could have like 3 or 4 goalies that were like shit. They could win the Calder, and I think that's really exciting.
Yeah.
If Celebrini wins, I love it, but I'm still kind of pulling for Wolf just because.
That's fair.
I just love me some goalies. I want some goalie love.
It'd be really fun to see a goalie win it.
It'd be so fun.
We've already looked it up in the past.
It'd be so
Steve
fun.
Mason's last goaltender who won it, God, he had like 10 shutouts that year. That is insane.
On Columbus, dude.
Like that-
on Columbus.
Those aren't Calder numbers. Those are Vezina numbers, like legitimately. So
Yeah.
that's insane. And
So
right
keep
now,
an eye on Steve Mason, right-handed catcher,
yeah,
as well.
right now, honestly, like I almost put Lane Hudson in first for their voting. 26 points in 34 games, and he's got like 24, 25 average minutes on ice. We know they love those guys who get eat minutes.
Yeah, but he plays like the entire power play. He's out there for
Yeah.
so much on the power play.
And I don't think that really hurts his numbers for what they look for.
Again, if I'm going between Celebrini and Hudson, I'm probably still leaning towards Celebrini because.
I think that probably-
Again, just at 18, and the fact that like he's already playing a full 200-foot game.
Yeah.
Like what is it?
I would
he
put
averages
Celebrini right
the
now
most
as well.
the most like board battle wins amongst every player in the league.
Yeah.
Like that's not just rookies. Like that's every player. I think it's like 5th most zone controlled entries per game.
Yeah.
Face-off numbers. I mean, I think it's only like 49. Like that's decent.
Especially for
Like,
a rookie.
I guess for a rookie,
most rookies
actually,
have
yeah.
like 42% or something. Like,
So-
it's pretty rough.
You know, I don't want to sit here and I'm not, maybe a little bit biased, but to me it's
I
just
would
kind of
take
the
Celebrini right now.
it's just the 200-foot game from a young centerman that I just think is so incredible. Like
Yeah.
if even if Michkov as a winger was doing this, I'd be Michkov then.
Yeah.
I just love those two-way players that not only can they put up points, but they can actually be relied on and responsible on their own end.
I just think what they look for, I think Lane Hudson's got a lot of that. But
Yeah,
it's hard to
I would
tell.
agree,
like,
yeah.
And whatever they do have right now as their pick, it could very easily change in a single game, really.
Yeah.
And we've got 50 games left in the season, so we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see where all that ends up.
Yeah, I think the race is still definitely wide open, and I think there's lots of players, lots of names that can insert themselves in here and join in on the fight.
And pretty much the only other thing I have to talk about. So on the 22nd and the 23rd, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers had back-to-back games. They had a home game in Tampa, and then they had a home game for Florida and Sunrise. Those games were so fucking good. Like,
I only saw the highlights of them, but yeah, they look pretty damn good.
The first game was really good. The second game was awesome. Legitimately playoff games. Like, you could go...
Yeah.
We just got to watch a playoff game in December, straight up. Everyone was trying so hard. Everyone was hitting like a wrecking ball. These teams hate each other, and they know they've got a break afterwards, so they're going to have time to rest up. They were going all out, and it was crazy because...
The rivalry's getting intense there.
Obviously, it's more often that the home team wins, right? So Tampa, at home, plays Vasilevsky. Florida comes in, plays Spencer Knight. The Panthers win. Then Tampa goes down to Florida, plays Jonas Johansson. They play their starter, Bobrovsky. We go in there and win. Like, it felt very backwards, but obviously the big news...
It's the beauty of the game. It's the beauty of the game.
And the big storyline coming from the second game was Kucherov getting 5 minutes and a game misconduct for kneeing against Matthew Tkachuk, who, if you didn't keep watching the game, came out for the power play starting the second period. He crawled off like he had been shot, and Kucherov definitely caught him. Kucherov, I think, was going for the body. I think 5 in a game is fair.
I'm glad there was no suspension.
Yeah,
I think 5 in a game is fair. If there's a suspension, I think there'd be a lot of issues then. Because he was not suspension worthy at all.
If I'm perfectly honest, especially since he's done it a lot in the past maybe month, I wouldn't mind Matthew Tkachuk getting help. Make it 5,000 because that's all you ever make it. Give him a fine for embellishment.
I don't know. With ones like that, it's so tough. Like I definitely agree he could have been embellishing, but with those neon knees, it's so tough to tell. Like,
even
and especially
just a warning,
because
sort of warning system. I don't know if they have that. Or not.
A warning, because you also don't know, like, you know, if they kind of their thighs may be caught. Like, if you get in like a bad Charlie horse, like that can be fun. So, do I think he maybe sold a little bit? Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, you know, I don't know the extent of necessarily how he's feeling, so I'm just gonna put my hands up. Like, I just don't know. I just don't know.
It was just so funny watching on Reddit the game day thread where all the fans of pretty much any team that wants to goes in and they all talk about the game, and you get the live chat as it's happening, and of course, you know, there's a lot of people. So it's Kucherov and Tkachuk, right? So there's a million comments of, yep, Kucherov's dirty as fuck. There's Matthew Tkachuk's a bitch. Like, nobody likes these guys from all the other fan bases.
Yeah, so they're just taking their shots at
So they just hate both of them. But, like, there was quite a few of them. I think there was a lot of Columbus. Did Florida play Columbus recently? Because a lot of Columbus fans were saying, like, I bet the way Tkachuk's crawling off the ice, I bet you he comes out pretty damn quick. Because he did that against us. And, yeah, he was right back out there. And maybe it's once or twice. Maybe it's a bunch. I don't know. I don't have him under a microscope, right? But it was funny because they had a second guy do that later in the game who had a rough game. AJ Greer had a great first game of the back-to-back. He had a shorty, but man, that guy had a night. He goes out there in the first 2 minutes. Him and Lilleberg get into a fight. He misses a punch and gets throttled to the ice. Both guys confetti gloved, but the refs just gave him 2 minutes each for roughing. The crowd was very visibly confused because...
Did either connect with a punch, though, or was it kind of just like a tussle?
Neither connected with a punch, but like...
Yeah, so a little tussle, though.
They backed away from each other, threw the gloves down. It was very clearly a fight. He went for a punch at Lilleberg's face. Lilleberg dodged and then just kind of grappled him.
Yeah, so more often than not, if punches don't fully get thrown or it doesn't go on for super long...
It made sense, but like I was surprised they didn't... You know, that was right at the start. Like, let's set the tone, 5 for fighting, both of you sit the hell down. Yeah. But I get why they did it, but also it was like, you know, they were clearly setting up to box and then he got taken. But either way, that happened. Later in the game, Greer got hit with a pretty good open ice hit from Hagel. One of the very few checks from behind done legally that I've seen in a long time. because it was open ice. Like it was, more of a push. He didn't body him. Like dude got up. He would never had a chance to be injured. But later in the game, he went to take Michael Asamont's head off and lawn darted himself into the boards.
Yeah,
that one looked pretty nasty.
He looked like Trouba.
That one looked pretty nasty, and then he did the same thing kind of as Kachuk. He sold his knee really hard, hobbled off, and then came back 3 minutes later.
Out. Yeah.
And then he kind of got throttled at the end of the game because he took a run at Lilleberg. Again, those two.
Again.
Like as the clock was hitting 0. It wasn't after the whistle. I get it. You can play to the whistle, but also the game was done.
Like the game was over, yeah.
So honestly, I don't hate that too much, but...
Go hard until the whistle. I can respect that. I can get on board with that.
But you know what? On the back-to-back, he's probably happy. He got a shorthanded goal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But those games were really fun to watch, so I just wanted to shout that out. And luckily, Kucherov's not getting a suspension. Matthew Kachuk's not injured long-term, so...
Everybody walks away happy. Well, maybe not happy, but...
Both teams are happy
able to
about
play
one
in the
game,
next game.
Pissed off about the other, so...
Yeah. I think that kind of wraps up most of our NHL news. We will finish this one up here. A little bit of housekeeping again. We'll kind of start with that here. No episode Friday. This is our Christmas special. We're gonna just there's no hockey games going on for a couple of days. So we're just gonna take a day or two, and we're just gonna relax, enjoy the holidays with family and friends. Just have a little bit of relaxation, a little bit of vacay. And then we will be back Tuesday next week. That will be New Year's Eve. And that one is going to be a very special episode. It's going to kind of be a whole 2024 wrap-up. We got some special lists we've come up with. We're going to have some awards. We're giving out some special Stick 'em Up awards. So we are looking forward to that. And we hope you guys are looking forward to that. But, Braden.
Yeah.
You're going to guess the top 5.
I'm going for top 5.
I'm only going to give you 10 guesses.
Okay, I get 5 misses.
And I'm going to do this based off wins. You have to guess the top 5 teams in the NHL that have recorded the most wins in the year of 2024. So not just this season, not all of last season, just from January 1st this year to today.
Okay.
The 5 teams with the most wins. I'll give you 10 guesses. I think that's fair. You get 10 guesses, you got to get top 5. I think you should be able to get it. So
regular season or overall? Do playoffs count, basically?
It looks like no playoffs. Sorry, no playoffs. No playoffs. Just regular season only games.
Okay.
Just regular season only.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, just regular season only. So wherever you can go with anyone you want here.
All right. Well, I think I'm definitely going to start with the Edmonton Oilers. They were horrible last season to start the year,
And they heated up, and they've had a great start this year. You would be right. The Edmonton Oilers are second. 52 wins.
52 wins.
52 wins. Well, there's a team technically tied with them, but they got them in second because it's I don't know. More points overall, I guess. They technically have one more point than them.
Oh, but of course.
They got that extra OTL.
Well, it's interesting because, obviously last year the Rangers won the President's Trophy, but they are not doing great this year. Let's go the Toronto Maple Leafs.
The Toronto Maple Leafs are 4th. 50 points.
Nice.
50 wins. 50 wins. 50 wins. 50 wins. Yes.
Who else has been good? The Vancouver Canucks.
The Vancouver Canucks, 12th.
12?
44 wins.
Nerds.
3 guesses down, but hey, you've already gotten 2. You've gotten 2 off the board.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Winnipeg.
The Winnipeg Jets.
Where they at? Oh no, are they way down there?
Yeah, they're yeah. So Winnipeg. So
how far down are they? They're
enough that apparently they're not on the list.
How far does the list go?
To 25.
There's no way they're the bottom 7.
Way. There's no way.
That can't be right.
There's no way.
There's no way.
I think this list just doesn't have the Jets on here. But I don't think the Jets would be in the top.
I don't think so, but
I don't know where they're, but they wouldn't
5.
They wouldn't be in the top 5. I know that for sure.
Oh man, who's really heated up? You know what? Let's go the Florida Panthers. I mean,
The Florida Panthers
Winning team.
are third. They are the team tied with the Edmonton Oilers. 52 wins. So you've got number 1 and number 5 left.
The Carolina Hurricanes.
The Carolina Hurricanes are number 1.
Yeah.
53 wins.
Big wins for them. Oh, who else wins? Let's go the Dallas Stars.
And he's done it. You got the top 5. Which is a pretty easy list. I'm going to try to find the Winnipeg Jets. So now that you actually mentioned it, I was looking through that list. I'm like, yeah, the Winnipeg Jets aren't on here.
I was going to say, that'd be crazy that given this year they've had, if they were in the bottom 5, including the end of last season. Like that
looks like they have 47, I think, or 46.
Where would that put them?
That would put them tied for 7th. Well, they'd technically be tied with the Golden Knights, the Rangers, the Capitals, and the Lightning.
That's some pretty good company for them.
It's actually not bad yet to be in that bunch there.
What website are you looking at this on? Are you on StatMuse?
This is from StatMuse.
So I just Googled. You know why? Because they're sorting them weird. So I put in Winnipeg Jets wins in 2024 calendar year, and it goes straight games played, losses, overtime losses, points. It puts wins in a separate area for some reason, which is weird. I'm seeing 52.
This is weird because I don't even get them.
They're like
The Winnipeg Jets just don't exist.
They're like over on the side there. Where would 52?
That's That's the 23-24 season though. That's 23-24 season. I'm just going off the calendar year.
Is it?
Of 2024? Yeah, it says at the top there.
No, I thought it was sorting it properly, but it's still kind of hard to sort that properly.
I'm pretty sure from what I was able to find that they had 50,
but they're not
50, 46. Yeah, not top 5, but they're right up in there. They're still one of the best teams in the league. I guess no love for the Winnipeg Jets there for some reason, as they banished them from that. But I believe that wraps up everything we got for this little Christmas kind of sit down chit chat, just chatting hockey, just having a good time. Braden, is there anything left you would like to talk about, or is that it for us here?
Good for Pasternak.
Great bod. Great bod.
Looks phenomenal in the shower.
Great bod. Drawing some inspiration probably from the ESPN of Joe Thornton and Brent Burns. But yeah, I believe that will wrap up everything for this episode. We hope you guys enjoyed this special Christmas episode. We hope you guys are enjoying Christmas and the holidays with all your family and friends. Stay warm. Keep those eggnogs and rum going, minus the eggnog. Enjoy your gifts. Hopefully you got a new twig or a 6 set of mitts under the tree. But Braden, give us your final thought before we take a nice little deserved break, before we come back strong for a final 2024 year wrap up.
Check out any World Junior games if you can. Look up, there's so many guides out there. Look up just like whatever you team you cheer for, Tampa Bay Lightning, players in World Juniors. Just Google that for whatever team you watch and try and catch that country's games, because there's a lot of really good young talent in there, and it's always just a balls out tournament. It's so fun to watch. Yeah, the intensity is always high. Players are always buzzing, and I think almost every team has a prospect playing it. I'm not going to say for sure every team does, but I'm pretty sure like 99% of teams does. And you know what? If your team doesn't, you've probably won a cup within the last couple of years, so hey, you know what? Who cares? Congrats. You're happy you got a cup there. But that will wrap up everything. Once again, Merry Christmas to everybody. And that will do it. We will be back Tuesday next week. That will be December 31st. Special 2024 wrap-up. We got a lot of fun stuff planned. That will be probably a pretty long episode. Probably. I think, knowing us and what we got planned, I think it will be a long one. It will be a nice wrap-up for the entire year of 2024. We are looking at that. So once again, hope you guys enjoyed. Merry Christmas once again, and we'll see you guys out on the ice next week, Tuesday, New Year's Eve.